Well, what a day it's been in the UFL. A crazy early block with games coming down to the wire. And we continue with the late night primetime matchup here in Cleveland. It's the Cleveland Bandits coming off of an overtime week last week. And the last 3 games have all been decided by a field goal. And the Dallas Talons flying up from the heart of Texas. They're soaring over everybody, undefeated so far, with the quarterback Cameron Duty having the #1 completion percentage in the league, up over 80% on this season. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Cirillo. Happy to have your company. Happy to be making my UFL broadcasting debut alongside John Fowler here in the broadcast booth in Cleveland. John, this one should be amazing if the early games in this block were anything to go by.
Yeah, I hope it's a thriller. I'm really excited to see Jaden Swift for the Bandits. We're not going to start with them, but Jaden Swift does not run against a defense that's dominant as the Dallas Talons and that defensive line led by Van Holten. So we'll see how this shapes up.
Instead, we'll see Cameron Duty in the Dallas offense. There's Travius James, the Dallas native, taking the handoff and going 13 yards. There's some really good talent on both sides of this Talons squad. We'll get to star defensive tackle Ryan Van Holten later, but we got to talk about the 1-2 punch of Cameron Duty and Travius James for the Dallas offense.
Yeah, Travius James has been kind of an overachieving runner, kind of not a ton of expectations heading into this season, but he's been really good, and Cameron Duty's been great, both with his feet and with his arms, certainly. So can't wait to see what Cameron Duty does with this offense. Whoa!
Well, that was a big hit.
That wasn't good.
Look out.
Not sure what the plan was there, actually. It was Isaiah Taylor catching a behind-the-line pass, and he was going to actually run back toward the quarterback. Not sure if that was going to be some sort of trick play, but it was snuffed out almost immediately by Kalen Malone of the Cleveland Bandits. Big hit.
Yeah, really big hit. And it's taking Dallas a long time to get back to the line here.
A little discombobulated.
Given their player time to recover. Cameron Duty, who comes into the game with an 81% completion percentage, is 0 for 1. Now he's 1 for 2. And a nice move after the catch by Freddie Gray to get out to midfield. First down, Dallas.
Yeah, Freddie Gray is not the #1 target. That's Rashad Lockley. I'm sure we'll see a lot of him, but Grady's been pretty good. And I've watched one game from the Talons. I called one earlier this year, and he was really a pretty impressive target for Duty. Someone he went to often. Look at this move, too. Just juking number 42 out of his cleats. That's Boss Cameron.
Cameron had no shot.
No shot. No shot there.
Well, if Cleveland wants any chance, they're going to have to keep the Talons off the board early and often. Here's James again picking his way. 2 rushes, 24 yards, 2 first downs. How about the offensive line for Dallas getting everything they want right now?
Yeah, they've been impressive all year, not only protecting Cameron Duty, but blocking for Travius James in this backfield. Lowers his shoulder there to get that first down. No one touched him until he was about 8 yards downfield, but was able to drag a defender across the line to gain, to move the sticks once again. So Dallas efficient in this opening drive.
Haven't mentioned Neil Rivers, the tight end for this Dallas team. Another great target. Deep shot, Cameron Duty going for it all. Intercepted in the end zone. Back shoulder. Oh, what a play by Jamarcus Richmond to stymie the Dallas drive.
Well, I call him the Cleveland Bandit because he just stole that ball. Cameron Duty taking a risk there. That was not actually a great decision in my opinion. He was throwing deep, looking right there for Lockley. Lockley was essentially triple covered. Maybe he would, if you're double covering Lockley, I think you're still got a good shot. Triple coverage, not so much. So that is a turnover. We've actually seen Cameron Duty turn the ball over a few times with those deep balls. He really trusts his wide receivers. So we're good for at least one of those a game, it feels like. He usually shakes them off, but that's a big mistake early, and Cleveland will take over.
We now see quarterback Isaac Covert and running back Jaden Swift, who gets pushed back. Only a gain of 1 there as Heim with the tackle for Dallas. A loaded wide receiver core for the Bandits featuring Cash Carter and Annie Beaverhausen. Also Ezra Swift on the offensive line as the center. They hand the ball off to Swift, breaks a tackle, nice balance to stay on his feet. Gets 7, brings up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, Jaden Swift is really one of the most electrifying running backs in the entire league, and I really can't wait to see kind of immovable object, unstoppable force kind of with this defense versus Swift.
First completion for Covert. That one goes to Evan Hill. First down, Band. It's been an interesting year so far for the Bandits. They lost to Albuquerque in a blowout 30-17, then came back to upset Florida 25-24, then lost to New York by 3, beat Fresno in overtime in a close game.
Watch the screen, watch the screen, watch the screen.
Yeah, it's been really up and down for the Bandits.
Nice quick hitter over the middle. First down and a little more out to the 45. Covert 2 for 2 right now. Second straight completion to Evan Hill, the 3rd receiver down the depth chart in the slot.
Yeah, and Covert likes to spread this out. I mean, he has hit a bunch of targets so far this year, and is one of the big through the air players that we have. Covert, he loves to air it out. Came into this game with 1,225 yards. He's already got the Bandits out close to midfield.
Ready. 58, the mic. Army, 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 Army.
2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league in terms of passing yards on display tonight. Jaden Swift gets the carry. Brent picks up 6. Cameron Duty 4th in the league. And at 8, it's Isaac Covert.
Yeah, these are 2 really good quarterbacks. Jaden Swift is going to get a lot of work here in the backfield. The drop-off after him in the depth in the backfield is pretty staggering. So he really is the bell cow of this group.
Another quick one over the middle. Perfect completion percentage for Covert. But it's going to be short of the line to gain. Randall makes the catch.
It
So
looks like
Carter
this... Oh, go ahead.
Carter and Beaverhausen still no targets yet on this first drive. Wide open back shoulder throw to Jaden Swift out of the backfield, and he's still going. What a drive for Cleveland so far, as they're close to field goal range already.
Yeah, it's a good drive for Cleveland. You can't leave Jaden Swift. You just can't. You just have to treat him like a assignment-based player. It's someone that you always need to have someone shadowing. He's a home run hitter for Cleveland, and he can certainly catch the ball in the flat like that and make a man miss. Foxworth getting trucked there as Swift was able to cut upfield quickly. So, yeah, you really have to shadow Jaden Swift. That's just not an assignment you can blow.
Swift averaging 99 yards per game on the ground. Plenty of time for Covert. He's over the middle complete. He's 5 for 5 on this opening drive as the Bandits break into the red zone. We see on the screen number 97, Ryan Van Holten, one of the top defensive linemen in the league, but it's been a lot of quick passes for Cleveland to try and negate this powerful defensive front for Dallas. Here's another one, wide open inside the 5. There's Beaverhausen, 1st and goal for the Bandits.
Yeah, Annie Beaverhausen is a great target here for Covert. Someone who is not very big, 5'11", 193, but certainly she's a capable wide receiver. Really, this is a duo that has done a lot of good work so far early in the season, Cash Carter and Annie Beaverhausen. Yeah, this line is really, they've held up, but these passes have come out so quick, it just doesn't even matter.
Play fake. Covert back to Swift, and he led him too far outside, out of bounds. They say he caught the ball, so technically Covert's still 7 for 7 on the night, but that play didn't really go anywhere. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, but in fact, he held on to that ball too fast. That ball should have come out faster, and Swift might have had a touchdown.
Swift, look out, nowhere to go. There he is. Van Holten with the TFL 3rd and goal.
Ryan Van Holten, again, like my partner said, one of the best defensive linemen in football. swallows up runners on a routine basis, one of the best run stuffers in the entire league. That's the matchup I've been so interested to see. Swift running up the middle, met in the backfield, big loss.
Ben Holton leads the league in sacks per game, 2.5 per. Into the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Carter, that's his first target of the night. And Cleveland's gonna come up empty in the red zone. A little bit pushing and shoving afterwards. It's the first drive, guys, calm down.
But that's the thing with the Talons. They're chippy. They like to hit their defenders. I mean, they like to hit their receivers. They like to press. They like to be physical. That was Hastings, corner there, breaking that up.
Still, a beautiful drive, 75 yards at a field goal. Isaac Covert, 7 out of 8 on the drive. And we lauded Cameron Duty coming into the night as this epitome of completion percentage. Covert says, "I'll take this."
Yeah, and Covert really is not someone to be challenged in this way. I really think I've been impressed with what Isaac Covert's done. I know the record is only 2-2. They've got some stuff to work out still in terms of consistency, in terms of what they've been doing on defense. But Covert has not been the problem. He's been a very good quarterback. And Duty is as well. But like I said, he's good for one of those kind of big, risky mistakes a game. He had one in my game that I called a couple weeks ago. And so it's not a huge surprise, but usually bounces back, gets more efficient. But 1 of 2 for 16 yards and a touchdown is not where Duty wants to be. So we'll see if he can correct some of those mistakes in this drive.
That long pick on his first drive when I thought they had something going with Travius James on the ground.
For sure.
They went away from him. They go back to him, and there's a hole the size of Louisiana up the middle. That's Taryn Walls, excuse me. Third halfback down the depth chart.
Yeah, rookie runner, just not touched. I mean, this line has been great so far this year at creating those big gaps for runners and also protecting Cameron Duty. And Cameron Duty is also known to take off as well through some of those gaps.
Duty play action, deep middle, caught on a crossing pattern. Isaiah Taylor to the 45 into Cleveland territory.
So we've seen Grady and Taylor so far. No Rashad Lockley. He was targeted on that interception. And no Neil Rivers. We will call Neil Rivers' game, but sometimes Neil Rivers is kind of a late starter. He'll come alive in the second half, get some good red zone targets. He's not always a warm target at the beginning of games, but maybe that'll start to change.
Dallas needing a win to keep up with Wichita. Whoa!
Whoa!
Look out! Carlos Berry says, "I'm rumbling over you." In the backfield, 4-yard loss.
That looked like a Ryan Van Holten play, just blowing up the line right at the start of the snap, and just hitting James in the backfield, getting absolutely clobbered for a big loss, setting up a 2nd and 14.
As I mentioned, Dallas needing a win to keep pace with Wichita at the top of the Central Division. In the slot, pass is caught by Lockley. There's his first catch of the night. 3rd and 1 after a 13-yard pickup.
Lockley's first grab won't be his last for sure. He's one of the best receivers on this team.
Here comes the delayed blitz. They throw over the middle. Lockley's open at the 21-yard line.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Another big grab that adds to his total. He's now got 17. Neil Rivers has also got 17 catches. He hasn't had one yet, but more of the short yardage red zone target. Lockley, definitely a home run hitter, averaging close to 20 yards a catch and close to 150 yards a game. So,
Let's go.
Meanwhile, Cleveland 2-2, technically second place in the Metro Division. Rochester's way up in that one at 4-0. Duty, short pass, probably his shortest of the game so far. He's responded from starting 1 of 2 with an interception to going 5 of 6, perfect on the drive.
Yeah, he's looked good on these crossing patterns as well as in the short right there to Charlie Elliott, the backup tight end.
High formation. James trying to follow the fullback, and he cannot do it. Crunched in the backfield by Carl Wall.
looked bad the second that play started to develop, met immediately by two defenders right away. A loss. There's Law. There's Iran.
Well, he was trying to follow the fullback, Shane Vincent, up the A gap, but the linebacker jumped in behind Vincent and blocked that gap up, so he tried to go outside, and the left tackle couldn't hold the block, and that's the end of the first quarter. Low scoring, just 3 drives. Both teams playing very controlled and conservative on offense. 3-0 Cleveland. This is the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. Flip sides of the field. Welcome back to Cleveland. My name is Michael Cirillo. Happy to have your company. John Warren. Here's the screen. Far side, Taron Wells. The rookie dives for the first down inside the 10.
Yeah, Wells has had a couple of nice plays here. That was a smart choice there. And Marsh was able to take that away. But yeah, good screen. Let it develop. Had a lot of time to do it. Good blocking. Really nice
Kevin
agility.
Lippett, the left tackle, with a really nice block out there. Lead block. You'll see it right here. Boom.
100%. Really good lead block. That's going to be a first down, setting up for a 1st and goal. And this has been an impressive drive.
Dallas trying to punch it in after Cleveland was stopped up inside the 10 on their opening drive and forced to settle for field goal. And untouched, Supermaning his way to the end zone is Travius James for the Dallas touchdown.
Travius James, Superman dive is right. Untouched, just completely untouched. Saw it developing the entire way. Nice gap opening up on the left side. That's just what you want to see. A nice drive, balanced, ending with a James touchdown. Dallas Talons taking the lead. And boy, yeah, they only got to score 14. 14 points is all they need to get to their average of what they allow on defense to win games. I'm not saying that that's a surefire thing, but this defense has been so good that really 2 touchdowns is what can seal it sometimes for the Talons. So there's 7. Cleveland's got to be real careful to let this not get out of hand too early.
And if you look at the scores that Cleveland's been able to put up this season, 17, 25, 24, 19, they're not the highest scoring team in the world.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're averaging about 21. They allow 23. So that 2-2 record's about right. They're almost even there. Dallas's offense, they don't set the world on fire. They're kind of middle of the road in terms of scoring offense, but this scoring defense is 1st in the league, tied with San Diego.
And when you've allowed 13, 14, and 17 points through your first 3 games, that's pretty darn good. Cleveland now down 17. Back on the ball after that. 24-yard return. If you're in the YouTube chat tonight, watching us on the Virtual Football Network, chime in. We want to know who you're rooting for. We want to know where you're watching from. If you're not rooting for any of these teams, who's your UFL team? Chime in. We want to hear from you. Cleveland back on offense for the 2nd time today. A 75-yard field goal drive, and a flag flies. Swift turns the corner, but I think this one might be coming back, John.
I think you're right. Looked like holding there right in the middle of the line. From, actually, it was on the tight end, so it was out on the edge. But, yeah, that's going to go back, so set him back to 1st and 20.
Trevor Gala gets hit with the penalty. Swift on a handoff. 5 carries, 18 yards so far. Neither defense really has led the way, I should say, in this game so far. I mean, Dallas with that red zone stop is the closest we've had to any consistent defense, but the offenses have been moving the ball pretty much at will. Swift not going to get much of anywhere that time. Nice tackle. Right in the middle by Julian Hine, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's not always it's kind of a bend don't break philosophy, especially for Dallas.
Bunch formation. They throw it underneath in the flat. That's a risky call on 3rd and 12, and they don't even get half the yards necessary to pick it up. So Cleveland surrenders a touchdown. The Talons defense gets a 3-and-out, and all the momentum is on the side of the visitors right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Dallas is averaging only giving up 302 total yards a game, which is just a staggering number, really. It's just not a lot of yardage for a professional offense. to travel. So they're really, really good at stopping teams both in the red zone and like this, kind of deep in their own territory as well.
First punt of the game for either side, taken by Dallas out to the 40. Keep an eye on the UFL website and Instagram Friday, April 10th for an exciting collaboration announcement with an industry leader as the UFL enters its second quarter of the season. The momentum is not slowing down. We're just getting started. Follow the UFL on Instagram at UFL.football. Cameron Duty, time in the pocket. Fires to his outlet pass, and it's complete to Lockley. You could tell he wanted to go deep.
He wanted to take a shot. Yeah. I was going to say, I think this is take a shot territory, and I think that was it. He may not try for another one. He wanted to go deep, did not see it. Went underneath to Lockley.
Hand off. Big hit, ball out. I think Dallas recovered. Yes, they did. But a nervy moment there for the Talons.
Left tackle Jacob Berkston able to scoop that right from Walls after it was knocked loose. Unbelievable hit. Oh my goodness.
That's a welcome to the pros moment for the rookie.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that. That's a big one. That's Scott Williamson, the backup middle linebacker there, backing up Penny Lane, rookie kind of star, claimed player for the Bandits. But yeah, Williamson there with a big hit.
Play action, rollout, deep, complete to Lockley. A pretty looking play, lots of deception, and a pass on the money 20 yards down the field.
Lockley is just so good in stride. You can see it right there, and had to go leap for that a little bit, but still maintained a lot of his top speed and was able to get a few extra yards. Really, really dangerous. That's why Cameron Duty likes to go to him deep, because he can break away from defenders. But he's been more successful tonight going with those middle of the field routes. And Lockley is kind of killing this defense right now.
Another play action. Duty looking deep, and he overthrows his intended receiver. I think that might have been Neil Rivers.
It was.
Deep post.
Yeah, wow. He had Neil Rivers actually pretty open in the deep post. If he had thrown that a little bit underneath, Rivers would have caught it with a chance to maybe juke that last defender for a touchdown.
Third straight play action. Duty middle. Caught wide open. This time the play is run to perfection, and it's a Dallas touchdown for Neil Rivers.
Yeah, this was almost exactly the same play, except there was no safety help. So all Neil Rivers had to do was run a great route, and he did exactly that. Was open, had the extra real estate in front of him to run this in. Neil Rivers with another touchdown on the season. He's just been an outstanding target once you get into this side of the field. So the Talons, listen, I watched last game I saw, Talons got up early, and then they let their opponent get back into it. We'll see if Cleveland can do the same, but this is a good start for Dallas.
A 10-minute stretch where Dallas goes from down 3-0 after running 5 offensive plays to up 14-3 and forcing a 3-and-out for Cleveland. It's going to be a tough stretch for the home side, but it's got to start, I think, with the running game in Jaden Swift.
Yeah, I think so too. We still haven't called the name or the number of Cash Carter, number 88, the wide receiving star on the Cleveland Bandits alongside Andy Beaverhausen. But you're right, it's Jaden Swift's team. I mean, this is really his team. Isaac Covert kind of has to know that that's a target that he's got to look for, both handing the ball off and also maybe in the short passing game, as we've seen a couple times already. They've got to really get him in space to try to get some chunk yardage, 13 yards, 17 yards, something like that, to get some momentum going. Maybe the Bandits can get back in this, but yeah, I agree. It starts with Jaden Swift.
And I want to see the Bandits as well go back to those quick passes, slants, crosses, maybe a check down here or there, because you know that Dallas defensive front is coming for some heads in the backfield.
Yeah, once they smell blood, you're exactly right. Once they smell blood, they really do pin their ears back and they get confident. They get aggressive, they get chippy, they get violent with their hitting. So this is something that really Cleveland has to correct right now.
They will start on the ground off to the left side, and it's a first down, 10-yard pickup for Jaden Swift.
Best way to get Dallas kind of in their own head about, letting Cleveland get back in this is letting them run around a lot. I think kind of wearing out this defense is something that the Bandits ought to be trying. Like, let them chase Jaden Swift on these big sweeping plays to the outside. Let them kind of run down Swift from behind and wear themselves out. That might be a good strategy here if they can get something together.
That last play was all Jaden Swift. He had no blocking help, but just created his own space. Play action, quick slant, caught first down and more right through the middle of the defense. Still dragging defenders to the 45-yard line. Evan Hill's second catch of the evening. Actually, third catch, 37 yards already.
Yeah, popular target tonight for Covert at least. Good catch there, really fingertips. Had to lean for it. Got kind of converged upon there at the end, took some big hits, but that's the kind of individual effort. We saw Swift with a nice individual effort last play, Hill on this one. That's what Covert's going to need to get back into field goal range, maybe even touchdown range.
Big shout out to Ezra Swift, the center. Massive block up the field
big
on
block.
that play. Play action, Covert time, looking middle. Caught on a curler at the 30-yard line, and down to the 25 goes Cash Carter, his second catch of the night.
Yeah, Cash Carter and Beaverhausen both can get some momentum going. That's going to help this team a lot. He had actually a couple of targets out there that would have had the catch probably, but Cash Carter just doing a great job leaving his defender by cutting inside. Really nice, clean route there. They're able to get a big first down. And so just like that, they're at the 25 knocking on the red zone.
Doing a lot of what I said they should do. Runs and quick passes. Look at this!
Whoa!
Oh, what a run! And the spin and the score! Jaden Swift deserves it. Give 6 points to the big fella.
That was do that little dance. Shake that moneymaker. Let's go, Swift. Look at this individual effort. Good blocking, but once you get to that second level, this was all Jaden Swift. That juke move, unbelievable. The spin, totally necessary to get Van Holten off of him. That is just about one of the best runs I've seen. 25-yard scamper for the touchdown to get Cleveland right back in this thing. Wow, what a player.
If that's not on the plays of the week, I don't know what we're doing.
Oh,
what a
100%.
run for Jaden Swift. And it's a 4-point game. Cleveland back in it. 4 plays, 75 yards on the drive.
Yeah, I think letting Dallas run around, chasing players, doing the alligator arms, that's going to wear this defense out. As good as this defense is, they play better when they're ahead and also when they can kind of smell that the other team is hesitant. And that is not a hesitant drive. That was just a really great balanced attack from Covert, from Jaden Swift, and Cash Carter. And again, that offensive line was outstanding for Cleveland on that drive.
But now the Cleveland defense has got to step up. They have the one fluke interception on the long ball. Other than that, Dallas has really had their way in this first half. 5:51 to go in it. And it's going to be up to this Bandits team to step up. Really, Penny Lane is the only standout on this defense.
Yeah, the secondary is not bad, but Penny Lane really is the leader on this defense. Just a great kind of field general for this team. Rookie out of Idaho.
Another nice hole for Travius James to get up to the 35 yards on that one. And there's the stat right there, 177 yards and 136 through the air for Dallas to this point in the game. And an offsides jump. A little bit too eager Beaver there from Carlos Berry, and they'll give Dallas a free first down.
Yeah, this will be now setting up. Yep, you're exactly right. Free first down. And that's not what you want to give up. I know the coaching staff's not happy about it, but that was a jump. I don't think he was lured offline. That was just a too eager defensive lineman trying to get a jump.
Cleveland in the penalty department, not that bad, just 40 combined penalty yards in their first 4 games. That's 10 yards per game, but they give them a big one right there. And sometimes it's not about the amount of penalties, it's the
first down
situations where you give them up.
Right. Exactly.
Short curl, pass caught, first down. Grady's second catch.
Grady's
Duty's done a
second.
good job of just spreading that ball around.
Yeah, no, yeah, is getting a lot of different players involved and also just kind of taking his time here, letting things develop. And certainly just kind of allowing this team to kind of control the pace of the game, which is what a defensive-minded team does. They control the pace of the game and allow their defense to really protect leads.
Handoff, big hole, but it closes quickly on James. Excellent job on the back end there by the Bandits defense.
Yeah.
I believe it was Matt Brooks that made the stop.
A big hit.
Forces 2nd and 7. James bowls over a defender, sets up 3rd down and short. Fun fact about that penalty against Cincinnati, it was only the 3rd time a Dallas opponent has committed a penalty all season. So they're 4-0 and only have 3 penalties for opposing teams. James picks his way for a first down.
They've really earned those 3 victories. Yeah, a lot of the teams are facing are pretty disciplined, but yet we're able to get these situational first downs, keep the sticks moving just like that. Tre'Vius James kind of falling across the line of the game. It looks like he might have actually tripped over one of his linemen after getting hit. Ooh, they're going to call that 4th and inches.
Wow.
I apologize. I thought that was a first down. Wow.
We both thought they had it. They're going to go for it, though. And they're going to go play action fake. Pass caught by the tight end Rivers for a first down. What a gutsy call by Dallas.
So aggressive. They've been doing that a few times this year. Not running the ball with Tre'Vius James. Not allowing. Yeah, it's been an impressive part of their offense.
2-minute warning here in the first half. 14-10 Dallas over Cleveland. Cameron Duty backs up into the shotgun. Here comes the late pressure. It's picked up, wide open, caught at the 10 by Grady.
That was actually only Dallas's first successful 4th down. They were previously 0-2. So I guess in short yardage situations, it's just mean that they like to be aggressive on those, but that's the first one that they've converted on 4th down. So kind of incredible, but Grady there getting them into position. They're not quite in goal to go range, I don't think, but they're right there at the 11. So it's close enough.
And John, you know from calling games with me the last couple of weeks, is one of my favorite things to talk about is blitz pickups and attacking blitzes in the secondary. And Dallas did a great job of that on that last play. Here comes the blitz again. It's a check down that goes to Terran Walls. And he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I want to spotlight Penny Lane on that play because Walls was about to get around her, but instead she came, twirled back around, got her arms around Walls, was able to take him down.
Duty steps up, fires a bullet, touchdown, Rivers, his 2nd of the evening.
Oh, man, yeah, this is not good. If you've got Rivers going, this was just Cameron Duty kind of alluring that defender into a sense of complacency. Marsh kind of pulling up on Rivers, being a little aggressive, almost wanting to play the ball right there where Rivers was. Instead, Duty led Rivers inside, got him kind of streaking, and that's his 2nd touchdown of the game. So they're going to go up 11 here if they kick this extra point, and they do.
It is good. 10 plays, 69 yards, 4
Wow.
minutes and 41 seconds off the clock. A soul-sucking drive for Dallas. But now Cleveland with 1:10 and 3 timeouts has a chance to respond before the break, and we could be looking at a bit of a shootout here in primetime.
We could, but I would want to caution the Bandits on something here. They're going to be able to get the ball back. They're going to get the ball back at the beginning of the second half. Dallas likes it when offenses are aggressive against them. That's something that they can usually take advantage of. So you don't want to go too crazy here, too aggressive, try something nutty at the end of the half. You don't want to turn the ball over and maybe give up even more points, especially when you're going to get this ball back at the end of the at the beginning of the second half.
Interesting stats here in the UFL. Here's one for you. Thanks, Cameron Irvine, for this one. That was Neil Rivers' 4th receiving touchdown of the season. Combined, all other players on Dallas have 3 receiving touchdowns. So you can tell where the bread is buttered in the red zone for Dallas.
100%. Yeah, Neil Rivers is just, you know, a total lockdown target for Cameron Duty, especially in the red zone. Just no one else is as good at securing the ball in those short yardage situations. So not a surprise, but a little bit surprising considering Rashad Lockley and Trevius James are also really great players.
A minute left. Cleveland going to take a shot, and it's complete.
Wow.
Excellent route there by wide receiver Cash Carter. Remember, no spikes. 10-second runoff for no huddle offense. Cleveland still with 3 timeouts. Another deep shot. A breadbasket catch. Evan Hill. He's been all over the place tonight. 24 yards.
Oh my gosh. It's actually Carrick Randall, the tight end, able to get behind a couple of lines of defenders there. This was just covert. Oh, unbelievable accuracy there to just lay that right into Carrick Randall's arms. That was a perfect throw. And
Randall and not Hill, my apologies.
No. Listen, from up here, it's difficult to see, but Randall able to pull that in and get a big first down.
Pressure comes. They go over the top. Oh, what a hit. Jaden Swift laid out for it, and the safety denied it. Jordan Palmer with a massive hit on the back end for Dallas to deny a big gain. 15 seconds left. Barely into field goal range for Cleveland. Still all 3 timeouts. Shotgun snap. Covert looking short. Swift in traffic. Falls down at the 29. Timeout Cleveland.
That was a big shot that Jaden Swift took on that route. That was tough. That was a really dangerous throw. Lucky Covert got away with that one, but now taking their first time out. They've got 2 more, but they've got to get this 6 yards. Wonder if they'll just try to get a little bit here and then try to kick it before the end of the half.
2-by-2, the receivers. Covert goes to the far sideline. They don't have to burn a timeout, but there's only 5 seconds left. It's 4th and 2. I don't think they're going to go for this here. I think they'll take the points, but who knows? Dallas got aggressive earlier on in this.
Yeah, we've seen some nutty end of halves, end of games. You know, some big decision making not panning out. So we'll see what they do here. They should kick this and go into the half, but we'll see if they decide to get super aggressive.
I mean, speaking of nutty end of games, is Cleveland will try this field goal from 42 yards. It is up. It is good. The field goal is converted by Jordan Shaw. I mentioned, speaking of nutty games, Charlotte over Miami, 30-29 in one of the craziest games, I think, all season. I don't know if there's going to be another one to match that one.
Yeah, I don't think so. That was, if you did not catch the 3-game slate right before this one, you got to see the replay. It was a blast, but that's why you got to come in early before these big primetime games. Cameron's calling all 3 games at once. I've never seen someone so thirsty after yelling for what seemed like 20 minutes at the end of those games. That was a really exciting slate. So you got to check those out before primetime each and every week.
Second left. We're probably just going to end up going to the half here. There's the kickoff, and it will be down to the back of the end zone with 1 second left. So no time game off the clock.
Here we go.
Dallas could take a shot if they wish. They will not. They'll run the ball, and we're headed to the halftime break. Dallas 21, Cleveland 13. Cleveland 2 scoring drives are very good. But other than that, the offense stuttered, and on the opposite side, Dallas got everything they wanted and more on offense in that first half.
Yeah, Dallas was very efficient with their offense in this game. Cleveland not really offering a whole lot in terms of resistance. That's something that I think has got to change. They've got to be maybe a little more aggressive, Cleveland does, at blitzing, sending blitz packages in to attack Cameron Duty. But, you know, really, I've been impressed with Dallas's offense. Honestly, that's the side of the ball that does not usually raise eyebrows and get me hyped up. But their offense has been very good. Cameron Duty able to find a lot of different targets, including his favorite target down the stretch, Neil Rivers, 2 touchdowns in the first half. We'll see if Cleveland's got something to respond with here, getting the ball in the first half.
21-13 Dallas. Let's pause 10 seconds for the league rights. The UFL on BFN.
This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Underway here in half number 2. Cleveland does get the ball first. A little bit of a peek into the mind of the broadcaster here. I've been doing so much radio lately, I almost said let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're not on the radio. We're on the Virtual Football Network, the best place to catch all the football. We got SFL coming up this weekend, SFL Minor League earlier tonight, playoffs. UFL, of course, continuing on throughout the year. Delayed handoff, Swift in a crowd. He'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, Swift has been impressive. He had that 25-yard touchdown run, which is great. But Dallas's defense is really not allowed him to get into scenarios where he's getting huge amounts of yards.
In the flats,
Ooh,
the tight
boy.
end gets blown up. In Covert, 15 of 17 for 155. No interceptions is pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, he's playing mistake-free football tonight, which is really, the best news for the Cleveland Bandits.
Swift bounces outside, first down to the 40. That's the kind of situation where you need your running back to be able to pick up those short yardage situations. We've seen Travius James and Terran Walls on the other side do that all over the place tonight for Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's totally right. Swift has been able to get these little chunk yards, averaging about 5 yards a carry without that 25-yard touchdown pass. Look at that run. Look at Roberts missing on Swift. We're going to see a lot more of those tonight. Swift is so good at making people miss, doing the alligator arms, missing those big tackles.
Deep shot, down the numbers, and
What a
hanging on
shot.
through contact. Big first down for Cleveland. Oh,
They said
whoa.
that was incomplete. Wow, I thought he came down with the 2. I really
me
did.
too. That sets up second down and 10 now.
Holy smokes, what a shot.
Swift, big hole up the middle. Well, if he says we're not going to get it through the air, Swift says I'll do it myself. 13 yards, first down Cleveland.
Hey, whatever. I really thought that catch was good, but I guess it hit the ground when he came down with it. That looked like an unbelievable catch after taking the big hit, but it doesn't matter. Swift able to pick up a big first down, keep the sticks moving.
All that matters for Cleveland is that they put the ball in the end zone. Here's the backup running back, Otis Young, who seems to be just as shifty as Jaden Swift is, picks up 8 yards on his first carry of the night.
Yeah, listen, I said the drop-off was pretty big between Swift and the rest of the runners in this backfield, but that was a nice little shifty run to get 8 yards.
Swift is sidecar right. He'll stay in as a blocker. It's picked off! Dallas undercuts the route on the far side, and back the other way it goes. Touchdown, Dallas Talons, a dagger by Corin Foxworth.
Yeah, Corin Foxworth just jumped this the entire time. You could see it. It doesn't. Yeah, the only person that didn't see it, unfortunately, for the Cleveland Bandits was Isaac Covert. That was not where Covert needed to put that ball. Just all over Andy Beaverhausen was Corin Foxworth there. Jumps the route, easy pick six. That is not the way you want to start the half for the Cleveland Bandits. big swing. That's a 12-point swing, really, when you think about it. I think Cleveland was on their way to possibly score a touchdown. Instead, it's 6 the other way for Dallas. Oh, boy.
If you're on the fence about joining the SFL, you could do a lot worse than one of the top cornerbacks in the league, still unclaimed, Corin Foxworth.
Yeah, he's been outstanding so far this year. He'd be a great pickup for anyone. And this defense is toe to tip, really, really good. We've talked about it a lot. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, but between Ryan Vinholton and the rest of this, you also have Frank Bernstein, which we haven't even called his name yet. I think he's maybe had a couple tackles, but strong safety, one of the very best in football. Corin Foxworth with that pick 6. We have linebackers that are super, super talented. So this is a really stacked defense for the Talons. They've been doing crazy work all season.
Corin Foxworth becomes the 8th player in the UFL this season to take a interception back for a touchdown. Lael Whitney's got 2 for Wichita. Nobody else has more than 1. But if you're looking at raw interception numbers, nobody's better than Rain Rie in Los Angeles and Darius Allenay in Washington. Both have 5.
Yeah, circus plays. I called an LA game a couple weeks ago as well, and boy, he's been outstanding.
Well, all that Cleveland can do is just pick themselves back up and try and get back in this football game. Now down 28-13, and a nice completion to Cash Carter is a great way to start.
Yeah, for sure. Cleveland's not out of this game. This is still absolutely within reach for the Bandits. It's only a 15. Did I do that math right? I think it's a 15-point game. Yeah, it is. And they could absolutely still get in this thing. It's only a 2-score game. And Isaac Overt, except for that pick 6, has been playing very, very well. So this is not over. They got a ton of time left, too.
It would require Cleveland to score the most points they have had in a game this season. Their highest score was 25 and a 25-24 win over the Florida Sharks in week 2.
It's Kyron Mumford there, backup tight end there with that nice catch to get them about 5 yards, set them with the 2nd and 5.
Again, the quick releases, delayed handoff, Swift again for the
my.
football, and it's Dallas that picks it up. When it rains, it pours. Julian Heim takes the ball away. Check that, that's Teverance Roberts, the other linebacker. Ooh,
Oh
boy.
my
Heim made the hit. Roberts picked up the ball.
Lowers the shoulder. I don't know if Swift just thought he could evade him, but oh my gosh, that's one of the biggest hits I've seen in the SFL. Of course it would knock that loose. Unfortunately for Jaden Swift, he did cough it up. It goes right back to Dallas. Dallas has all the momentum here in the second half.
Dallas with a chance to really make this game over right at the start of the second half, but that's a great combo tackle by a couple of Bandits defenders.
Yeah, Bandits had it scouted. Travius James just had no room there, lost about 3 yards on the play. But Cleveland's got to maybe try to think about forcing a turnover here, doing something, maybe put pressure on Cameron Duty when he drops back. If they don't get a lot on this next play, we know Cameron Duty's probably going to be passing the ball on 3rd down. I think Cleveland's got to start coming after them.
Play action, Duty. Back to the running back on the outside. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Pushed out of bounds. That was Dallas's 3rd forced fumble of the season to get them the ball back.
90 Wolf.
Some scores from the week. Rolling across the right-hand side of the screen. LA big winners over Denver. Cameron Duty's going to take a deep shot. He's got a man open at the hash marks. Who pulls it in? Who else? Rashad Lockley.
Rashad Lockley, again, is that deep threat target. That's the exact kind of coverage that you want to see if you're Cameron Duty. You go, okay, I have one high safety in the vicinity, but you know Rashad Lockley is going to outrun 99% of them. He does. That comes right down in his breadbasket. Perfect pass. They're set up just outside goal-to-go territory at the 11.
Duty play action. Plenty of time to throw. Back of the end zone.
Who else?
Wide open. It's a hat trick of touchdowns for Neil Rivers on the night.
Well, I don't want to say it's automatic, right? But if you're not doubling Neil Rivers, honestly, you're making a mistake there in the red zone, and really no one was on him. I mean, Neil Rivers, it was a really soft zone coverage. Rivers just able to get out there toward the sideline. Cameron Duty found him right away. That was a very easy drive off of that turnover, off that huge fumble from Jaden Swift. It's getting late early here in Cleveland for the Bandits, unfortunately, but maybe they can get a rally going.
35-13. This was a one-score game at the half.
Oh, unbelievable.
And pick six, fumble, touchdown for Dallas to open up this third quarter.
It's I don't want to say it's insurmountable because I don't want you to touch that dial. We've seen some crazy games here in the UFL, but I will say this defense plus a lead like this feels very funereal. It does feel like an early bedtime for an opponent of Dallas, because Dallas does not usually score points like this. And with a defense this good, it's hard to see Cleveland coming back, but stranger things have happened. That's why we play the games. So don't touch that dial.
Neil Rivers becomes the first tight end in UFL history to record 3 touchdowns in a single game. He ties James Walters in Motor City for touchdowns on the season receiving by anybody with 5, with 3 on the night.
Yeah, good pull there. He's starting to climb the ranks very quickly of the best touchdown pass catchers in the league, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's near the very top of that list at the end of the season. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Untouched corner blitz off the edge. Jordan Palmer laid the wood on Isaac Covert, first sack of the night for Dallas. Huge play.
Just no one really in the vicinity, uncovered, unblocked. Covert there, no chance, just tucks it, takes the hit. Big loss.
For UFL schedules, standings, stats, rankings, and more, visit the league website at UFL.football and claim your player today. You can help your favorite team succeed by just being a fan and declaring your fandom. UFL.football, the official home of everything UFL. Well, did he keep the feet down?
They say he did. That's Mumford. Unbelievable. That's one of the best catches I've seen so far this season. Just dragging his toes and having the ball there in his left hand as he fell out of bounds. That's going to get the first down. What a play to erase that huge loss that they suffered during that sack.
Tyron Mumford keeps it moving for Cleveland, down 35-13, 5:21 to go third quarter, deep shot middle. It's caught. Perfect completion. Bradley Edwards, first catch of the night for him. It's a 28-yarder.
All right. Cleveland not going away quietly. Isaac Covert taking some shots downfield. Dallas with the little soft coverages there, putting Heim there on that receiver. That's a mismatch, and Covert spotted it right away, went right to him. That's Bradley Edwards, listed 4th on the depth chart for the Cleveland Bandits.
Let him know.
Into Dallas territory, quick strike, batted away.
Ooh, oh boy. When they watch the game film tomorrow, Julian Himes going to be kicking himself. He should have had an interception there. Instead, it was just batted down.
Heim already has a forced fumble tonight. Could have added an INT as well. They go back to the ground. Swift is swiftly near a first down on the 25-yard line, 3rd and inches.
Didn't quite get that first down there, but Covert, this feels like 4-down territory to me to get back into this game, but we'll see what they do here on 3rd and inches.
They go to Swift. He's got it.
Easy money.
And he almost stayed up as he tripped over an offensive lineman, and that allowed the defense to get to him. 100 yards for Swift. He averages 99.3 on the season. That's 7th on the per game. Excuse me. That is 7th in the UFL this season.
Yeah, kind of a normal day at the office for him so far. That 25-yard scamper for a touchdown. That's going to be on a bunch of highlight reels probably at the end of the season. But that 100 yards, that's pretty normal for him. We got a lot of time left. I'm sure he's going to get the ball more.
He will get the ball again. Trying to bounce it outside. Gets chopped down back beyond the 20.
Actually going to give him a yard there. Looks like he may have lost some, but they credit him with about a yard there. You see the attack is not quite balanced. They've got 8 more passes than run plays.
Nowhere to go. Look out. Justin Barnett wraps him up. Now 3rd and 8. Another gain of just 1.
Yeah, Barnett there flanks Ryan Van Holten. So sometimes you'll see Barnett get in the backfield quickly. It's usually because they're doubling Van Holten to stop him from doing the same.
Just 3 down linemen for Dallas on this 3rd and 8. 4 receivers all on that far side, and a flag comes in.
Yeah. Delay a game. Wow.
Wow.
Really, those procedure penalties can really kill you when you're down by this much. You've got some little momentum trying to get a spark going. Loss of 5 yards, getting us to 3rd and 13. That could be really tough, especially against a defense as talented as Dallas.
From 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 13 now. Back at the 26-yard line. Pressure comes. Covert gets it off. Picked off in the back of the end zone.
That's Foxworth again in the back of the end zone. This was set up. I don't know if you saw it, but right at the end of this, Van Holten almost had a sack against Covert. I think Covert had to get rid of this fast. Foxworth drags the feet. Oh my goodness, he took a shot too.
But it looks like even though he had to get rid of the ball fast, it looked like the pass was late.
It was.
Because
it was.
Cash Carter was way out of the back of the end zone by the time that ball got there.
It was late. It was inaccurate. It was all the above. Really, the only player there who could have even had a shot at it was the man who picked it off, Corin Foxworth. So no chance at a pick 6 there, dragging his feet out of bounds. But 2 picks for Corin Foxworth. That's a huge night for this cornerback, the leader of that group.
Duty all day. Has time to read a book back there. And he fires deep down the middle into a chaos at the opposing 20-yard line. Although 80 yards in the air is pretty good arm strength for Cameron Duty.
It's good arm strength. I'm just like, why? Why take the shot? That's so strange to throw this kind of Hail Mary first and 10 from your own 20.
They're going to run the ball. It hasn't really been the best night for Travius James. 50 yards
no, it
for a
hasn't.
touchdown. Lane makes the tackle. I don't know. I don't hate the taking a shot on the first play from scrimmage just to try and catch the defense napping. But that one is a bit of a wild one to me. Now 3rd and 10. Cleveland looking to get off the field for the first time. And a 3 and out. And they will. 1-on-1 at the near side numbers, and Dallas couldn't hang on to it.
I guess you figure up 22, you can take some chances without a whole lot of fear of repercussion. But again, I mean, it's an odd play. That was Isaiah Taylor. They were essentially playing defense, trying to bat that ball away from the defender who actually kind of had the right step to maybe even catch that ball and intercept it. So good play on Isaiah Taylor to just break that up and cause a 4th down punt.
Credit Aaron Marsh with the pass breakup. Big hit on the punt return. And Cleveland gets the ball back again. No damage. First punt of the game for Dallas, 35-13. Jaden Swift, 16 carries, 103 yards and a touchdown, 6.4 yards per. And his one blemish is the fumble when he got nailed right at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's okay. That was just a big shot. I haven't seen a running back take a shot like that so far in the UFL.
He takes another one right there from Herschel Beasley. 2nd and 10.
Cleveland here, I think you get Jaden Swift in some space in the passing game. Maybe try to see if you can get Beaverhausen up the seam or something. You got to get something downfield to try to maybe put some points on the board, even just here at the end of the third. I mean, I know it's not necessary. You can certainly score three touchdowns in a single quarter, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get a little aggressive here in the last couple plays of the third quarter.
The last play was anything but. Quick hitter to Hill for no yards. Now 3rd and 10. In danger of going 3 and out themselves. Pressure coming. Gets it away. Overthrown and incomplete. Covert had Hill open in the middle, but again, the defensive line is finally asserting themselves here late in the game. It's taken a while, but that was another rushed throw, just like the interception was.
I want to also say, though, this was batted down by Jordan Palmer, almost caught right there by Evan Hill, which would have been a spectacular play and a first down. That's maybe not what you want to do. If you're at the end of the game, yeah, bat the ball down, but you could probably take that pick if you wanted to. Regardless, doesn't matter. Cleveland punts it away. Dallas gets the ball back.
Teams trade 3 and out here as we approach the end of the third quarter. Keep an eye on the UFL website and Instagram Friday, April 10th. That's a week from now for an exciting collaboration announcement with an industry leader as the UFL enters its second quarter of the season. The momentum is not slowing down. It's just getting started. Follow the UFL on Instagram at UFL.football. Cameron Duty and company back on offense. Check down in the flat. Not much gain on that one. Take a look at Duty's numbers. 250 yards for him tonight. He's averaging 306 a game. And that's the end of the third quarter. It was all Talons. 14-0 in the third after scoring 21 in the second. Dallas looking to remain unbeaten here on the UFL on the virtual football network. 4 is up. We're headed to the final frame. Play action on the first play. Down the field. It is caught. Guess who? It's Rivers.
5 catches, 79 yards. Those 3 touchdowns, the huge difference maker. That's going to be the standout stat there. Look at that. Just getting both feet down. You just love to see tight end play like this. Just soft hands up. No one else can catch this ball. Bringing both feet in, absorbing a hit, doesn't matter. That's just like ideal, platonic ideal of tight end play. They are going to challenge this. You're going to see if Neil Rivers actually did get that second foot down. It did look like it in real time, but he might have put that heel down out of bounds.
Neil Rivers is 6'4". Aaron Marsh, who is covering him on the play, is 5'11". That's not a matchup you're going to win very often.
That's not fair. No, that's not really certainly the matchup you want to exploit if you're Cameron Duty, but yeah, not the matchup you want to see if you're on the Cleveland side of the ball.
After review of the play,
here comes the results of the review. Play stands. Dallas, first down.
Big first down.
It is interesting, though, that Cleveland is leading in total yards.
Exactly.
326 to 310 right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so fascinating. Thanks for Cameron Irvine pulling up that stat for us. It doesn't feel that way, but I see it. Now I'm revisiting the game. Cleveland's had the ball a lot. They've tried to move the ball a lot. They've been successful at certain times. They've now put up more yards than what Dallas traditionally gives up on defense, but when push comes to shove, they haven't been able to convert those into points.
Look out, big carry. James has his longest rush of the night. He's up to 73 yards on the ground as Buchanan finally brings him down to the secondary.
Yeah, that's going to make that average for James look a lot better at the end of this one. Just untouched. A nice hole up there in the middle. He putting both hands on the ball, making sure he doesn't fumble it like Swift did on the other side of things. It's a big first down. They're inside the 30 now, just like that.
3 down.
Handoff, strong side left. He gets a hole and drags the defender to the 21-yard line is James.
6-yard gain there. Dallas looks like they're kind of in clock burning mode. That's not good news, especially if they keep handing the ball to Travius James. He gets those big chunk yards.
Here's James again. He's got another first down. James is a Dallas native, born and raised. And so it means a little bit more to him than maybe anybody else on that talent squad. Suit up.
Went to Plano West. That's my alma mater. So interesting to see a Wolf here on the field doing such good work.
Play action duty. Great job by the left tackle. And he's hit as he throws, and it's almost picked. Whew, Aaron Marsh got his hands on it, but he couldn't quite secure the pick. The offensive line held up as long as they could, but just unable to hold the ball. And Dallas is going to get another shot at this one. 2nd and 10 for the 15. Duty fires to the 5. Incomplete, I think. Yeah, 3rd.
It was. Yeah, I couldn't tell either up here, but yeah, when he came back up from that hit, he was empty-handed, so they must have batted the ball down.
Cleveland trying to hold Dallas to a field goal. Oh, they won't, because the big freight train is rumbling down to the 4-yard line. How's the gutsy call on 3rd and 10 to call a delayed handoff draw to your 6'1", 209 running back and have him pick up the first down?
I'm scratching my head, actually, because they're saying this is 4th and 2 on the field unless there's some sort of error here. I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you how they got that spot.
Well, that's a really poor spot if they're calling that 4th and 2. 4th and inches, I can see. That's a terrible spot.
That was a terrible spot.
Dallas is up big in the game. I mean, you're up 35 now, 38-13 after the Ruth field goal. But, I mean,
that's
in
bizarre.
A closer game, I may challenge that if I'm Dallas and head coach Marsh. But the Talons will take the points, and they're up 38-13. I want to bring on Cameron Irvine now. Hopefully he has recovered from the ridiculous early block of games we had this afternoon to talk about some AI things. So, Cam, welcome to the show. First, I want to talk about what happened at the end of the first half with Cleveland's drive and them not calling that 3rd timeout.
Yeah, it was a curious one. It took us a long time to really kind of study that because I was surprised. You know, the theory is under 42 seconds left. You should burn that timeout if you have 3. But I think what happened was something that had to do with were they in field goal range or not. There's a component of having 3 timeouts when you're checking for field goal range, and if you are and if you're not. Maybe Cleveland was right kind of on the fringe and something happened to where they should have called it. They didn't call it. Maybe it was a wind, something. It was very strange. And then on top of that, Tarillo, they didn't run no huddle either. They just kind of slowed it up, and they wasted a lot of time. And it was a really curious case, and it's one of the few times here on the show that we can say we're not quite sure what happened there. It was kind of a bummer, and Cleveland has not been the same since. They haven't scored since that field goal. Oh, look out.
Covert knocked down for a sack by Van Holten. He's been kind of quiet tonight, just 2 tackles and a sack for Van Holten, but he makes his very large presence known. I want to talk about the early block today. Before we get to the end of the Portland game, first off, let's talk about Charlotte and Miami, because that may have been one of the best football I've ever seen in the last 2 minutes of that.
Yeah, Charlotte not taking those timeouts until they absolutely had to, drain the clock to prevent Miami from calling a timeout of their own. It was a perfectly executed drive, 3rd down here.
Covert, wide open underneath. First down, Bandits.
And they're going
no catch by Evan Hill. Evan Hill's been good tonight.
They're going no huddle, so they'll get up to the ball pretty quick. But yeah, it was just a beautiful display of no huddle offense. Charlotte got out of bounds when they needed to. Hill can't make that catch. They hit everybody over the middle. They didn't rush. They didn't panic. They didn't make any terrible throws. It was really brilliant football. And if you're Miami, it's pretty rare to execute a drive like that as flawlessly as Charlotte did. You just kind of have to tip your cap to them and move on.
Now we got to turn to the kind of bewildering end of the Cincinnati-Portland game. Cincinnati survives in a bizarre set of circumstances. You'd think that Portland would have had a chance to kick the ball with under 10 seconds left for a win. They decide to go for it, and they don't even get the playoff because the clock runs out because of the 10-second runoff rule.
Yeah, all I can offer to people is that that's the only time they'll ever have to witness a game ending like that. I mean, it was just awful. And thinking back to the year of testing we had, I don't know, and that's what makes the game of football so brilliant. I don't know if I've ever seen a game so far in testing where the team was down by 2 points, had a chance to win the game with a field goal, and they didn't have a timeout left. And you think about all the different scenarios that you can test for and that you can find. And I don't know that we ever encountered that. And that was the big difference. If Portland would have had another timeout, they would have called the timeout after the sack, and they would have fourth and 3.
Down, and a pickup by Jaden Swift. Continue, Cam.
Cleveland got it, yeah. So they where was I, Torillo? That was a great 4th down conversion. I was excited about the play. It's hard to be long-winded on prime time sometimes. But
there's a game to do it. You've got the opportunity.
Well, that's true. Yes, yeah. It's turned ugly here in the second half, hasn't it? But what really happened in that half, because they had no timeouts, you really want them to just kick it, to just take the points. And I noticed that they weren't really trying to run clock either. It looked like they were trying to score and win the game as Culver takes a sack. It looked like they were going for a touchdown, which was very unusual to me because there is code in the game that says, hey, when you're in field goal range, let's just kind of run the clock out and get out of here. But I think the no touchdowns or the no timeouts was problematic to that. And another thing that was problematic was code we thought we fixed but didn't fix. So at the beginning of the season, we had a problem where the defense is supposed to call a timeout with under 2 minutes to go, or call their timeouts if it looks like you're going to win the game with a field goal, right? They want to get the ball back with as much time as possible remaining. But we had changed the play clock from 40 to 35 seconds, and we didn't change that code. And so it never fired because it was looking for 40 seconds on a play clock. Nice throw there from Covert.
Nice.
Well, then we changed it, and we thought we fixed it, but we hadn't encountered that situation for like another 3 or 4 weeks. And it turns out that I set it to 34, but the game has this 1 second weird thing where it like shifts it, and it basically just didn't fire again. So I've changed it again to 30. It should fire next time, right? So we've encountered 2 chances for the defense to call those timeouts in those moments, and it didn't work right. So that kind of set everything in motion where Cleveland's not calling their timeouts when they should be to stop the clock. Portland doesn't have any timeouts of their own, and they should be kicking a field goal. At the end of the day, Torillo, I know it's long-winded, but at the end of the day, we found an AI hole. There was AI situationally for between 13 and 20 seconds and for less than 6 seconds. When that incompletion happened, there was 9 seconds left. So the game was not thinking situationally, it was just running regular offense with 9 seconds left. So we've made that correction among a number of corrections in those moments, and hopefully it never happens again. But tough loss for Portland. In some other situations we say, well, that's football. There's nothing we can do about it, and we can do about that. We can do something about it here, and that's it. It's about 25 lines of code I'm looking here right now, and so if you're a UFL Ultimate subscriber, you don't have to listen to every word I'm saying. We'll copy and paste it for you in our server, and you get to see for yourself.
All right, thank you, Cam. A long-winded explanation, but one that really deserved, especially to the members of Portland and Cleveland. There, look out. A nice Cleveland drive comes to an end on an interception. This one could go back all the way. A second pick 6 of the night for the Dallas Talons. Darnell Andrews. 80 yards to flip the field, and the deficit gets bigger, 44-13.
This has turned into a nightmare. Just did not see the nickel corner there. Darrell Andrews able to just get right there in front of Evan Hill, snatched it out of thin air, took it all the way back untouched. Talons having just a magical kind of day, both sides of the ball, but especially on defense. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast, kept talking about it. This defense has just been extraordinary. They may give up more than 13 points in this game. We'll see. But they are standing firm right on their average. That is what they have given up and they are certainly en route to a big win here tonight.
4 takeaways for Dallas. I mean, John, this was a one-score game at the half.
I know. This second half, I mean, you know, we had that exhilarating second half of the early slate of games where teams were down, they came back. This one's just gone the opposite direction. Dallas just putting their boots on the throat of the Cleveland Bandits, and that's just been a tough game for this hometown. They've been up and down, though. We talked about that as well. A loss, a win, a loss, a win. Last week, overtime in Fresno, thrilling victory. Now tonight in front of their home fans, this has just been a crushing defeat. So the duality of the UFL rears its head.
Dallas, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, they got a win to keep pace with Wichita in the Central Division. Well, they pretty much have done that tonight, and they get Wichita Friday, April 18th. That'll be 4-0 against 4-0. And I know, you know, some people might complain about having the same team in primetime multiple weeks back-to-back, as Covert stays on his feet, launches it deep, and it's incomplete, out of bounds. But if the 4-0 Dallas Talons and the 4-0 Wichita Flyers is not the game of the week next week, I don't know what we're doing here as a league.
Yeah, I don't know either, and that is the matchup I would want to see as well. They're both really good teams having a great start to their year. But you know, Wichita is kind of the barn burning high scoring team. And you know, when the rubber meets the road, we'll see between those two teams who is really the best of the bunch in that division.
That's going to be a really fun one, as it's a incompletion over the middle of the field. Cleveland and Covert just trying to get anything they can now with under 5 to go in the game. Cleveland coming up next, also Friday, April 18th. They'll play Washington. That's a divisional game, also at 2 and 3. That'll be for second place in their division, as both of those teams sit behind undefeated Rochester. And coming into the year with you know, all these seasons of UFL history from the mind of Mr. Zilligan, Rochester's never been this good. It's been crazy to see what they've done for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's really fun to see too, and I'm excited to see how it continues to progress throughout this season. But yeah, Wichita and Dallas, just going back to that for a moment, they will play twice. Their rematch is scheduled for August 12th in Wichita. So, you know, these two teams could be very close still, depending on how things shake out. So it's not all down to next week's matchup in Dallas, because they will meet again in Wichita later this summer.
An SFL commentator for the last decade and a college sports guy. I'm not used to seasons being that long. When I saw August, wait a minute, we're still going in that late? That's not the next season? Cameron Duty takes off. First time we've seen a quarterback scramble tonight, and that's a pretty good one. 23 yards.
And that's actually pretty abnormal for Cameron Duty. He usually does take off and have a couple of those a game. But no, I mean, this is just kind of first big scamper from him, going 23 yards. That's a big game.
Ready. Mike back two.
We saw the Aztecs put 50 up earlier this week. Could Dallas be heading that way as well? They still got 4 minutes left. A rare negative play for Dallas, as James didn't get anything there. Loss of 1.
Yeah, it was a rare negative play. It doesn't matter. It's way out of range here for Cleveland, but still a nice tackle there. James has had a really good game, running some crucial clock out and also just getting big yards to get these drives super long and just kind of backbreaking against this Cleveland defense.
James trying to weave his way through. Can't do it. 3rd and 8. We've got some great matchups coming up next week. A rare Monday night slate of UFL action, as it's 3rd and 8. Duty and the Talons trying to extend this drive. Only a 3-man rush, and incomplete out of bounds. So it'll be a 3 and out for Dallas on this one. They'll punt it away. Tennessee at St. Louis, Milwaukee at Motor City, New Orleans at New York, and Houston at Rochester. Of course, I have my eye on Rochester. They're currently undefeated, hosting Houston. Tennessee at St. Louis, also good. I mean, there's not really a bad game in that slate. Then Wednesday, El Paso at Phoenix, Dakota at Minnesota, San Diego at Salt Lake, and Vegas at Albuquerque. Those are all of the next week's games. Nice punt coverage by Dallas. They'll down the ball inside the 5. And it'll be deep field position for Cleveland here with just over 3 minutes remaining.
My God, what else can go right for Dallas? That was just a great heads-up special teams play. Putting them way back here. Not that it terribly matters, but Cleveland would love to put more points up here just to leave the fans going home with something they can hang on to.
Well, 4 takeaways for Dallas, 2 pick sixes.
Two big pick sixes, and then that, you know, a pick six is obviously, you know, kind of the big money-making play that a defender would ever want to have. But again, that pick in the end zone was also huge. It took away a touchdown for Cleveland.
There's a nice catch down the field for the Bandits. Cash Carter. He also picked up a face mask against Carter Brooks that'll tack on some extra yards. So that one, so Cleveland gets out of the shadow of their own goal post. The only games next week that feature 2 teams at 500 or better are Rochester 4-0 hosting Houston 2-2, and 2 3-1 squads in San Diego and Salt Lake.
Hey, you're on an island over there. You're on an island.
The UFL continues to roll on in its inaugural season here in 2025. Covert over the middle for a short couple of yards. Remember, Covert at the beginning of the game, I think started 14 of his first 15 on passes, but now he's down near 50% because he's just been shucking it up here in the second half as the deficit has increased. He backs up and throws it deep, and it's almost intercepted again, batted out of bounds. I believe that was Foxworth almost at a third.
It was almost at a third pick there, but yeah, that was forced throw. Held on to it for a long time, but eventually it was Van Holten who put the pressure on him. And he threw that ball right into Foxworth's vicinity.
Covert taking a shot. It's picked off. A little overthrown for Carter. Sheldon Hastings has the 3rd interception and 5th takeaway of the game for the Dallas Talons. It's been all Texas tonight here in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's 2 picks for Foxworth. That's 1 for Hastings. Darrell Andrews had that pick 6. Just a huge game for the secondary. Really, I mean, obviously, it starts with the fact that, you know, the Bandits have had to try to throw the ball a lot here in the second half. So I don't want to just say it's incredible secondary play, but they've just been heads up. They've been ready for these passes to be a little errant and aggressive and taking advantage of it every step of the way. Ooh, big hit.
Duty's going to take a sack back to the 9-yard line as we hit the 2-minute warning. It's all Dallas here in Cleveland tonight. 5 takeaways, 2 pick sixes, the key moments. I got to reiterate, I've said it several times, this was a 1-score game at halftime, 21-13.
It can really change quick in the UFL. I mean, in both directions, right? You know, gaps can be narrowed and then gaps can really blow up, and that's what happened here tonight. Dallas is and continues to be one of the most complete teams that I have personally seen play in the UFL. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going throughout the long season. You said it. It's a long season of simulation football like UFL, and it's a big season. But Dallas so far, through now their 4th game, they're cooking with something special.
Dallas with 3 interceptions tonight, up to 5 on the season. LA leads the league in that stat with 10. They have one fumbled force that gives them 3 on the year, tied for 3rd in the league. San Diego leads that category with 5. Checking in on standings around the league. We'll start with the Central Division where Dallas finds themselves. Wichita 4-0, Dallas going to be 4-0, St. Louis 2-1, Tennessee 1-3. In the Atlantic Division, Miami drops to 3-2 after a loss tonight. New Orleans is 2-2. Charlotte's 1-3. My poor Florida Sharks are 0-4. In the Great Lakes Division, Cincinnati wins tonight as Covert takes his sack. Cincinnati's now 5-0.
Another Ben Holton sack there.
Yep. Motor City 2-1, Milwaukee 1-3. And Chicago picked up their first win of the year. They are also 1-3. Covert on 2nd and 18 is going to be sacked again.
Wow, hat trick of touchdowns for Neil Rivers, hat trick of sacks for Ryan Van Holten. He set the tone early with some big hits against Jaden Swift, but these sacks, even though they're in quote-unquote garbage time, still very impressive.
Count.
Yep.
That's the end of the game. Deep shot, incomplete. Dallas all over Cleveland here tonight. It was a one-score game at the half, and then Dallas came out of the break and just ran over the Cleveland Bandits. Corin Foxworth, 2 interceptions, 1 came back for a touchdown. 2 pick sixes on the night. Sheldon Hastings got one for Dallas as well. You can see the tail of tape right there. 24-0 in the second half.
Yeah, again, it was a one-score game at half, and it just really got away from Cleveland. Cleveland unable to do anything in the second half. Dallas being able to do everything. They ran the ball well. They protected the football in the second half, but most importantly, this defense was just stifling, creating turnover after turnover after turnover, not allowing Cleveland to get any sort of momentum going. I'm going to give this game ball, frankly, to Corin Foxworth, but also let's talk about Ryan Van Holten, who set the tone early. So this defense, I'll just give it to the entire defense. It's all about defense with the Talons, and that narrative is going to continue for another week. San Diego has now got a chance to kind of, put up their end of the bargain, but Dallas right now, to my eyeballs, looks like the best defense in the UFL, and it's going to take some proving otherwise because they've just been super impressive. On Cleveland's side, they've got some stuff that they should be excited about, like Jaden Swift and the general play of Isaac Covert, but Covert did not have a good game tonight. They're going to have to go back to the well and see what worked and what didn't. I expect Jaden Swift to get a lot of carries and attention in future games, but this was a tough outing for the Bandits, who just continue their up and down season.
My game ball goes to Neil Rivers, first tight end in UFL history with a hat trick of touchdowns in a single game. He was all over the place when Cleveland went up early in the first quarter. He was the man to drag Dallas across the goal line into the end zone and pull them back into the game. He gets my player of the game tonight. Once again, it was all Dallas. They outscore Cleveland 24-0 in the second half and use 5 takeaways to take a 45-13 win over the Cleveland Bandits. Dallas goes to 4-0. Cleveland drops to 2-3. For John Warren in the broadcast booth with me, Cameron Irvine, our AI expert and master controller at the commands making this broadcast go. My name is Michael Trevillo. Thank you for allowing me to make my SFL broadcast or UFL broadcast debut tonight. I said at the beginning of the game I wasn't going to make any more mistakes. Well, you had to wait till right at the end.
You bookended it.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back on Monday night with more UFL action, but check out the Simulation Football League over the weekend on the Virtual Football Network as well. Have a good rest of your Thursday evening.